Muslims of Bosnia are still losing territory, homes and livelihoods. 1,000 refugees trapped in villages in central Bosnia.
100 civilians who've been trapped there by the fighting are to be allowed out.
It's a thoroughly dangerous situation.
Bob, can you tell me a little bit about how you first got involved with the Balkan conflict?
In August of 1992, I was commanding an infantry battalion of the British Army. I was based in Germany, and towards the end of the month I was on leave in Berlin. I'd only been there 24 hours when I was told by the hotel receptionist that an important phone call was coming in. And I was to be ready to receive it at 1 o'clock, which I did. At exactly 1 o'clock, the phone went. It was my second in command, ringing me from my base 4 hours away by car. He told me that the British Army had been earmarked to send some units into the Balkans. My immediate reaction was to say, "Oh God, poor devils." In fact, he said, "No, don't quite get it. It's us. We're being nominated. And in an hour and a half, you're going to be named in the House of Commons as the commander." My heart sank. I thought, oh, goodness me. I'd seen what had been happening there all through the summer, and it looked like sort of Kafka. It looked totally anarchic. And I thought, how am I going to deal with this one? What's going to be my approach?
I just hope we just can get through, you know, to the people, and get on with what they're doing.
You see, 10 years before that, in 1982, as a young major commanding 120 men, I'd lost 6 men killed and 35 wounded in Ireland. And I knew what it did to me. And it seemed to me that I was just about to be pitched into a situation where the chances of me losing quite a lot of men were very great. So I had a lot of fear.
It's not like Northern Ireland. What you want is somewhere that will protect you from the blast, okay? So find a good place.
Bosnia was so different to my infantry experience, which was operationally primarily in Northern Ireland over many years at various levels. One of the first decisions I made on arrival was that it was not a war where officers would not be in the front line. You see, the people in Bosnia expected to see the commanders. It was sort of warlord type country. And I decided and realized that I had to actually be something I wasn't. I wasn't a warlord, but I sometimes had to pretend to be. On the ground, in order to get anything done, they often expected the commanding officer to be present. And by the commanding officer's presence, we could get much more achieved.
Trying to make sense of a rapidly changing civil war, its commander clear about his
I
objectives.
hope we'll convince all the people that we can be some form of force for stability, just calming the situation down, because we need to have a calm situation to make sure we save as many people this winter as possible.
Late this afternoon, the first company of warriors arrived at their headquarters in Vitez. They'd been delayed by blocked roads and had spent a freezing night in the mountains. In the next few days, they start the job they were sent here to do, escorting aid convoys to the besieged towns and villages in the north. This coming week will prove whether the men and their vehicles are equal to this task.
I first went into Sarajevo in about November of 1992. It took a long time to get in. Sarajevo at the time was totally surrounded by the Bosnian Serb army. The Bosnian Serb army had set up artillery pieces on the hills, which gave them a tremendous advantage at looking into the city. Not just that, they had snipers stood by. So what it was fundamentally like, the people of Sarajevo were living in a goldfish bowl, except those around the goldfish bowl could take a pot shot at them whenever they liked. It was horrific. Now, I went into Sarajevo, and in order to get in, people like myself, the United Nations, were able to do so. The people were not able to get in or out, unless they were very brave. But for me, to get into Sarajevo required us to go down a specific route through a series of Bosnian Serb army checkpoints, and they might or they might not let you through.
These men take shelter where they can to escape the cold and the Serbian artillery.
The first Serb positions are about 500 metres down the road there, and what we hope to achieve today is to get across there and talk to the Serbs. With a bit of luck, the ceasefire will hold. But as you hear, something is going wrong.